So hello, good evening. Yeah, I can see you. So I can see you. You are well. So without wasting our time, I want to quickly go to what we have for today. It's going. Hello. So we want to look at what are the components of the immune system and the function of each component of the immune system. And specifically, we want to focus on the innate immune system. In the first lecture on immunology, introduction to immunology, I told us that innate immunity is nothing but the protective mechanism in which we are born with. So we want to focus on what actually makes up the uh, innate immune system today. So in this presentation, I want to introduce you to what the immune system is and a specific focus on innate immune system, just like I said. Also, this presentation is going to explore how our body defends itself against harmful invaders such as pathogens and abnormal cells. Yeah, in the first lecture we had, I made mention of antigen. An antigen, I told you, is a foreign substance that is capable of stimulating an immune response. And I told us that antigen is what the invaders, that is pathogens, each pathogen must have its own set of antigen that is inherent in each and every one of them. Then this table is going to show us specifically what are the components, the major component of the immune system. The cells include macrophages. This is the structure, and it accounts for various percentage in the adults. And the nucleus, the way you see this nucleus, you might also see it in another form. It doesn't actually mean, but once it is a macrophage, it is a microphage. And these are the function. It involves phagocytosis. um, it also perform the role of an antigen presenting cell, antigen presentation. We will see all this by the time we go on. Then the second component is neutrophils, and this is the structure, which account for between 40 and 75%, and is always multi-lobe, that is the nucleus is multi-lobe. When you count number of nucleus here, you will see that we have about 4 or 5 to 5 nucleus here. So it also function in phagocytosis, and it is also involved in deregulation, that is discharge of content of a cell. Then the lifetime, the duration of its function is just for 6 hours, and a few days is going to die off. So it can also target bacteria and fungi. Fungi. That means whenever we have fungal infection and bacterial infection, we just discover that neutrophil will just be recruited to the site. Then eosinophils. So this is the structure, and it accounts for between 1 to 6%, and it is a bilobe. You can see that it has just two nuclei. So it functions in degranulation, and it also release some enzyme and growth factors like cytokines. And the lifetime is like between the lifespan is between 8 and 12 days, and they will just function. It can serve in parasitic infection as well as some other allergic condition. The fourth one is basophils, and it is less than 1%, and it is bi or trilobed, and it also function in degranulation, release of histamine, some enzymes and certain cytokines. And in terms of the lifespan, it is the lifespan is uncertain, and it is likely to last for a few hours to few days, and it is also involved in various allergic condition. The fifth one is mast cell, and this is the structure, and it is very common in all tissues, and it has a central or very single load, and it also perform the function of degranulation, release of histamine, enzymes and cytokines. It can last for months, several months to several years, and it is also involved in parasitic control of the body. That is, it protect the body from parasitic infection like malaria, trypanosomiasis and so on. Then it also perform its function in various allergic condition. Then we have the lymphocytes, especially the T lymphocyte, which account for 20 to 40%, and it is deeply staining, and it has a eccentric nuclei. You can actually see that it's very deep, the nucleus, as if it is just the nucleus, and you will see that it function in T helper cells, that is CD4, which is the major attack for HIV. It is also involved in immune response mediators as well as cytotoxic, that T cell, CD4, CD8, and CD8 destruction. So, and it can also last for several weeks to years. The main target is T helper cells and intracellular bacteria. It can perform the function of being cytotoxic T cell, virus infected, and tumor necrosis factors. It can also it also targets natural killer cells as well as a virus infected cell. So the next one is a monocyte, and you can see that it accounts for between 2 to 6%, and it is kidney shaped in nucleus. You can see the shape; it's like a kidney. So it functions in differentiation into macrophages as well as a dendritic cell in order to be able to elicit an immune response. And the lifespan or the duration is just for few hours to several days, and the main targets are various. So the last but not the least is the natural killer cells, which is NKC. So it accounts for 15%, and it varies in depending on the circulating antigen. So it is a single load, that is the nucleus is just one. Then it functions in tumor rejection as well as a destruction of certain cell, that is antigen. So, and the lifetime or lifespan is just between 7 to 10 days, and it's target viruses and some other tumors. So that is those are the major components of the innate immune system, their functions, their lifespan, and their location. Now, the immune system, just like I define immune system for you the other time, is a complex of network of cell. It's not a single cell. As we can see, innate immune system contains about 8 or 9 cells and other cells, and all these will work together as in a network of tissue, network of cells and organs that will function in order to protect the body from harmful pathogens. Not only harmful pathogens, some cells are cancerous, that is abnormal cell development and certain diseases. So, and innate immune system, sorry, the immune system comprises of two arms. The first one is innate, just like I said, and this is the first line of defense, very, very rapid in action and in response, rapid response, and it is non-specific. It is naive because it's going to be the first line of defense. Then the second one is adaptive immunity, and from the word adaptive, it is highly slower, highly specific, and it provide a long-term or long-lasting means of immunity. So the immune system primarily function to detect and destroy pathogens. Not only pathogens, they remove dead cells or damaged cells, and there together they function in order to protect the body from certain infection and insult. So the next one is just like I said, innate is non-specific, so it work immediately even before the body identify the specific pathogen because it is not specific. Even sometimes when there is the body is under stress or under pressure, the innate immune system will want to function. So because it doesn't actually need to identify what the antigen could be, it could be as a result of stress. So once it senses any insult or any foreignness, the next thing is that it is going to act with certain speed. And the next one is adaptive, which is slower in response. Sometimes it can take few hours to feel, in fact, sometimes it can take days before it will be able to uh, react. So, overview of the immune system is the body's immediate non-specific defense against pathogen, and this include our skin, the mucous membrane, and some natural barriers. So it is the first line of defense, just like I said. Then apart from that, the second line of defense of the innate immune system include the white blood cells, which might be in form of inflammation. Sometimes you just wake up and you discover that you already have swollen part of your body. It is as a result of their reaction or the reaction of your immune system to certain insult and certain antigen or certain stress, which is very, very advantageous to you. And sometimes you just discover that you are feeling feverish. Sometimes it's as a result of wanting to eradicate or eliminate foreign particles from your body. And another second line of defense is the complement system. Just from the word complement, that is, it is going to function in order to be able to complement the work of other part of the immune system. The complement immune system will not be able to work alone. It has to depend on the other arm of immune system. And complement immune system are intricate set of proteins, about 28 to 30 proteins, which will work hand in hand in order to be able to assist the immune system in order to be able to function. And you should also know that part of the characteristics of innate immune system is that it has no memory. It doesn't need to remember anything. It doesn't need to remember the past because the action was just very, very non-specific. So no memory is needed. So it reacts in each time. So each time there is an insult, the innate immune system will be the first that will just get there before it is going to collaborate with other parts of the body. Just like I said, the physical barriers in innate immune system is helping us to be able. The first thing is you have some antigen that they have to be stopped at the gate. So, and where is this gate? That is our skin. So this is the largest body organ that act as a waterproof. Sometimes and so many times you just discover that our skin eliminates a large percentage of bacteria or pathogen that will have actually come in contact with the internal organ and will be able to render our body to be under pressure. So many times the skin provide this kind of physical barrier. And the next one is the mucous membrane. Whenever you the lining of some of our organ is with a mucous membrane, which function in trapping pathogens before they will be able to enter the body. And before they will enter, they are already being entrapped. So, and when they are being entrapped, they will be under watch until they die off, and they will be eliminated by the body. And sometimes you just discover that even our nose, you see cilia inside it. When you look at the small intestine, it contains finger-like structures and hair-like structures in the respiratory tract. This is just not there. It is there in order to be able to eliminate some of these harmful um, pathogens. This barrier prevents most pathogens from entry, forming the first line of defense. So the first thing sometimes is to prevent your enemy from or the armed robbers from entering into your house. But once they have entered, there are other mechanisms that will also be involved. And once they have been able to maneuver to getting inside, the next thing is the cellular component of the immune system will now be triggered, and the first thing that will be uh, that will now be recruited is going to be the white blood cell, which are very very essential for immune system. And it is in this white blood cell that we have neutrophils. Neutrophil is always the first responders to infection. And how do they do that? They phagocytosize. That is, they will engulf. They sometimes they swallow some of these pathogens. And the next one after neutrophils is macrophages, which are very large, that ingest pathogens, present antigens, and activate the other arm of immunity, which is the adaptive immunity. Then the next one is the natural killer cells, which has its function to destroy the infected and abnormal cell by inducing what is called apoptosis. Apoptosis is nothing but the cell committing suicide. That is self-destruction. Then the next one is the dendritic cells, which is involved in capturing of antigen and present them for cellular damage. So what are the role of phagocytosis? Don't forget that phagocytosis is the process by which certain WBC, that is white blood cells, such as neutrophils and macrophages, dey engulf and digest foreign bodies such as bacteria. So what are the steps in phagocytosis? The first one is that dis white blood cell will be able to recognize you'll be able to recognize the pathogen. Then the next one after recognition is to be able to swallow, to engulf, to surround the pathogen into the immune system. Then after that, this one will now be digested. So the pathogen will now be breaking down because phagocytosis of phagocytes, dey contain several enzymes, hydrolytic enzymes, which are very very important in digesting some of these pathogens. So phagocytosis is crucial for eliminating infection and preventing the spread of this infection. So just like I said, the next one after the innate immune system, and one very important part of the innate immune system, is the complement system. I told you it is a group of proteins that work together with innate immune system in order to be able to fight and promote inflammation. Part of what they do and how they do it is through the process called opsonization. Opsonization is a process that marks pathogen for destruction by immune system. Another one is what is called MAC, that is membrane attack complex, which will perforate, create hole in pathogen membrane in order to cause cell death through leakage. The next one is inflammation, which is being activated and being recruited by the immune cell to the site of infection. So in short, complement system amplify the immune response to pathogen. It will amplify it. no matter how small it could be, is going to make sure that it trigger it to the level that it is amplified, so that the body system will be able to take care and get it eliminated and eradicated out of the body. So the inflammation as a defense mechanism, some many times, you just like I said, you just discover that you have some swollen parts of your body. Where, what are they, and what are they trying to do? So inflammation as a defense mechanism, inflammation is a localized immune response to infection or injury. So you just discover that sometimes when you sustain an injury, or when you have a wound, you just discover that in the upper part of your leg, you just discover some part is being swollen up, and it's just getting swollen and paining you. So what you do is that is inflammation as a defense mechanism. So which the first thing is that there is going to be vasodilation. That is, blood vessel is going to get expanded and flow to the affected area. Then another thing under inflammation is increase in permeability, which allow the blood vessel to become leaky and allowing the immune cell to be able to pass through. Then the last stage of inflammation is recruitment of the other part of the immune cell. So this will be recruited in order to be able to eliminate the enemy. So natural killer cells, as part of the innate immune system, are types of white blood cell that recognizes and destroy infected or cancerous cell. How do they work? They also work as a result of recognition. After recognition, they will destroy by inducing a process that is called apoptosis, which is cell death. Then the next one is to be able to make sure that natural killer cells act early in order to be able to defend the immune system. Another part of it is the interferons in immune defense. Interferons are nothing but protein that are released by the cell in response to viral infection. So function of interferon is that it's going to, viruses cannot even function without any replication. Replication is very, very important and very, very pivotal for the viral infection. So what is going to happen is that interferon is going to inhibit, prevent the viral replication. After that, it is going to make sure that there is activation or enhancement of the activities of natural killer cells and macrophages. Don't forget that macrophages, they are professional phagocytes of which are specialized in swallowing of foreign body. Then interferon are very crucial in order to be able to prevent the spread and making sure that the immune responses is being boosted. The next one is that I told you the other time that fever. Fever is an increase in body temperature, which is typically in response to an infection. Sometimes when you have any infection, the next thing is that you become feverish, you become sluggish, and you have a lot of things that is going to be increase in your temperature. It's nothing but a response to give your body a signal, to give your uh, immune system a signal that your body is under attack. So that is why you have the symptoms which include fever. And you can even think of some of the infection that will surely result in the symptom coming up with a fever, like malaria, typhoid, and some of all these. Whenever they are being attacked, you just discover that fever. So that's why we said fever is beneficial response, but its excessiveness is not good. Then the role of bone marrow. What role do bone marrow play in immune system? Every white blood cell, red blood cell, platelet, all of them, they are being primarily synthesized from the bone marrow. That is the reason why that whenever you have bone marrow transplantation, what you are indirectly trying to do is to make sure that you boost the immune system. So bone marrow is the primary site of blood cell production, as well as the house or the site where the immune cells are being produced. Oh, another part of very important part where immune system is being produced is that of lymphatic system. Lymphatic system helps transportation of immune cell throughout the body. There's no part, just like you have the circulation that circulate blood throughout the all the parts of the body. The same way you have the lymphatic system also performing this function. The key component of the lymphatic system includes the lymph, which are the fluid that contains immune cell, including lymphocyte. Another one is the lymph node, which filter lymph and house immune cell that fight against infection. Part of it is spleen and thymus, which are very vital for producing and maturing of the immune cell. The spleen filter blood and plays a crucial role in the immune system. Function of the spleen include blood filtration, immune activation, blood storage, and so on and so forth. It is very, very essential for filtering blood and coordinating. They are the coordinator of the immune or the cellular immune response. The thymus and the T cell development. Thymus is where T cell matures and learn to recognize pathogen. Antigen recognition is a crucial part of the T cell. During T cell maturation, there is what we call positive selection of T cell, where T cells that recognize pathogens are being retained. Then negative selection, that is where you have T cells that attack the body's own cell are eliminated. So the thymus is crucial for generating immune cells which are capable of fighting against the infection. The role of antibodies. Now we are already moving down to the adaptive immune system. So, and that is where antibodies will perform its own function. Antibodies are proteins that are produced by B cells that specifically target pathogen. How do antibodies work? They also work in form of a recognition. They will be able to recognize antigen that are present on each pathogen. After recognition, they neutralize it. That is, they block the pathogen's ability to be able to infect the whole cell. Then after that, they do what is also called opsonization. They mark pathogen for destruction by the immune system. So antibody are very, very important in antigen recognition, antigen presentation, and antigen destruction. Now, another very important part of immune system is what is called major histocompatibility complex, which is called the MHC. MHC molecules are involved in presenting antigen to the cell. They are the one that will just go and hand over all the antigen to the T cell. So it's just like if you want to hand over the thief or armed robber to the police. So types of MHC, there are basically two types of MHC. We have class 1 and class 2. Class 1 is present, they present antigen from inside to cell of the cytotoxic cell. So MHC1 is always found on the body surface of the CD4 and the CD8. So MHC1 on CD8 and MHC2 on CD4. So they present antigen from pathogens to the helper T cell. So it is very, very crucial and critical for activating the adaptive immune system. Cytokines. What are cytokines and immune response? Cytokines are signals molecules that help to regulate the immune response. Why do they function? They function as communicators. They function in communication, whereby cytokines will allow immune system to be able to communicate, not only communicate, and also cytokine will coordinate the action. They enhance or suppress responses that can boost or regulate the immune system. So they play a very central role in the immune response to certain infection. And the role of dendritic cell. Dendritic cell is a link, is the bridge between innate and adaptive immune system. Once the dendritic cell of the innate immune system cannot be able to handle any antigen, it is going to trigger. It's going to trigger the adaptive arm of the immune system in order to be able to start performing. And that's why dendritic cell function has two functions. Number one, they also function in antigen presenting cell. They present processed antigen to T cell, thereby activating the adaptive immune arm of the immune system. Then they also serve as bridge between innate and adaptive system because they play a critical role in activating and making sure that the second arm, which is the adaptive immune system, is well taken care of. How does innate immune system protect against pathogen? Number one, innate immunity uses what is called PRR, which is called pattern recognition receptor, that they use to detect pathogen associated molecular pattern on pathogen. So that is the signal they use. That is their own detectors, PRR. So they make use of this PRR to be able to identify the palm on the pathogen. Once it is recognized, the next thing is to trigger what is called phagocytosis. So where pathogens are being engulfed by the immune system. Then after phagocytosis, there's going to be swelling, that is inflammation. So inflammatory signal recruits more immune cells to the site of infection. So the innate immunity is very, very essential because it is rapid, it is not specific, and it is naive. So the process of inflammation, I have mentioned that earlier on. Then I also mentioned how does the white blood cell, how do they work? So we can see then antigen presenting cell is a process. Antigen presenting cell captures pathogens and present their antigen to T cell, thereby initiating the adaptive immune system. The antigen presenting cell that we have within the immune system are macrophages, dendritic cell, as well as B cell. So APC, that is the antigen presenting cell, are critical for bridging innate and adaptive immune system. So that is why dendritic cells are said to be the bridge between innate and adaptive immune system. And I've also mentioned the role played by macrophages in immunity. So I want you to go through that so that you'll be able to see. One funny thing about this presentation is that this part of a presentation is also being presented in our local language, and you can actually go for this one and you will be able to see it. So then apart from our local language, we also have it being presented in um, pidgin English. You can have it also in pidgin English. So time is going to fail me, so I won't be able to have time to be able to go through. But one thing I want to believe is that so that you'll be able to adapt this in to our own language here. And don't forget that I have said, what have I said so far? I've been able to define what innate immune system is. I'll be able to tell you that the immune system is made up of two sub-arms. We have the innate, we have the adaptive. So complement system is a kind of intermediary. It's part of innate immune system, but it is an intermediary between innate and the adaptive immune system. Don't forget that I said that innate is quicker in response, it is naive, it is not specific, and it takes a very fast time to be able to respond to that. Component and function of the immune system. So just like I said, in this kind of a presentation, I've told you the function that each of these one perform. And just like I said, we have it already present in pidgin English. So this is the pidgin English version of this presentation, introduction to immune system. The immune system na big network wey get plenty cell, tissues and organ wey dey fight disease and anything wey no good for the body. The immune system get two parts: innate immunity, which is fast, no specific response to anything. Adaptive is slow, but e very get strong and fit to be able to protect us. So then the next one is the key aspect of the immune cell, so which include neutrophils, macrophages, dendritic cells, natural killer cells, mast cells, and so on. And the innate immune system, I've actually given you the way they work, which include the skin, the mucus, the cell, and the chemical signaling that has to do with cytokines and interferon. And the function of the immune system is not only to defend, is not to defend, they are also to regulate. Apart from defense, they also regulate. Then another one is they are also involved in surveillance. That is, they are at alert at every time. So they dey check body for bad cell like cancer and other infection. So how innate immune system work? This system dey use quick response and block pathogen from entry, but the adaptive system go come later to make sure that everything dey alright. Now I said you are going to have the following essay question, the following quiz. You have MCQ1. What are the function of the neutrophils in the body? So then explain how macrophages function to protect the body from infection, and what role do they perform in activating the adaptive immune response. So the next one is what is the primary function of natural killer cells in the immune system? So they are they involved in attack and killing of the infected cells? Do they present antigen to T cell, release of histamine to mediate inflammation, detect pathogen and remove dead cells? Then you have to describe the how natural killer cells identify and destroy infected or abnormal cells, and you have to explain their role in immune system. Then which of the following is a key component of the innate immune system? The skin, the mucus, the white blood cells, T cell, B cells and antibody, macrophages, neutrophils and lymphatic vessels, all of the above. And you have to explain how innate immunity work, its component, and how do they collaborate to provide immediate protection. So that is the end of this presentation. I want to appreciate you for your time. Don't forget you have to do the home, you have to do the quiz, and you make sure that you submit it in the comment section. So uh, don't forget to don't forget to submit and make comments in the comment section. I want to see you in the next lectures, God willing. Thank you for your time.